Welcome to Eve on One. Or not welcome to Eve Sound Bug. I'm Major Freak. As you can hear, that buzzing sound, and I'll take you to the login screen. So the stuff I know about it so far, the stuff we know about it so far that I've talked on the channel, that it'll follow you to the login screen. You can fix it by a hard restart, but who the hell wants to do that, right? Now, we know that you can fix it by going to here, clicking this off, and back on. It'll cut out sound until you interact with the environment, like say clicking on dock, and then it'll click in the sound again, or say you fix it during mid-warp because you hear the Stargate hum in mid-warp and you fix it. You don't hear any sound until you land on grid, and then you start hearing sounds, background, you know, all that stuff. The sliders for ship effects and ship ambience need to be jostled after you fix it, because that, I believe these bugs are triggered at the same time as the Stargate hum, and they it's like what happens is if you screw around with a slider, you can still hear it barely. But if you screw around with a slider, you'll soften the sound. But it's like it ignores like this. I didn't do. There's nothing different. It's just that I played around with the slider for atmosphere. So it ignores the slider for this one, and this one, possibly more. I don't know. But the ones I know about are these three, and you can adjust this. And it'll tone down the sound. It won't get rid of it, but you can toggle this off and on, and it will get rid of that buzzing sound, but it won't get rid of the effect that these sliders are ignored. So you have to, afterwards, you have to fiddle with this. So I will go into here like so, and I'll demonstrate it. Watch it not work. So it's easily demonstratable by jumping through Stargate and listening to the cloaking sound you get, because you enter system and it's like cloaking you, and it's like, ooh, new cloaking effect, sound effect. Thanks, CCP. Brilliant. Yeah, the sound bug happened long before they put in the new cloaking sound, that's for sure. All right. You hear that? That's supposed to be really quiet, because when I do this, hear that? That's the uncloaking sound, which is supposed to be as loud as the cloaking up sound. And you hear how soft that was? So yes, it ignores the slider completely. Yeah. So of course, I don't quite hear it. Oh, sorry. If you zoom out, you can't hear it. We'll have to jump in system. I'll warp to my dock, and you will hear the hum of the gate mid-warp. It'll follow you. Hear that? It's really low now, right? Sorry, give me some. That one.
Warp drive active.
See? All right, and you fix it. I usually do it mid-warp. It's usually when I notice it. Because it's, wait, why can I still hear the jump in? So it's fixed. You cannot hear it. slide this. It doesn't need to
Docking
be all the way.
request
Just jiggle it
accepted.
around a bit and put it back to normal. Yeah, that annoying brrr sound, that's the ship effects thing. So, yeah, there you go. Hopefully that clears up a lot of confusion around this bug. Yeah, you can hear it, right? There we go. Gets rid of that. And now you can't hear any sound, but if you interact with it, kicks the sound right back in.
Docking request accepted.
That's annoying. Yeah, see, it ignores sliders. It's really annoying. As you can hear it. Now we'll click that off, and we'll play with the sliders, and we'll undock, and you won't hear that sound as it cloaks automatically. And hear that? Barely anything of undocking.
Docking
So
request
yeah,
accepted.
it's just ignoring sliders completely. It's annoying as hell. Yeah. Once you know about it, most people just have music on the background, and these sounds are pretty much white noise. People don't really notice them. You just assume it's part of the game, and that was intended. But as soon as you start to realize what's there, you're like, I want to turn the audio off completely, which a lot of people do. And it's not a metric that CCP can track, so. And unless they go by, well, nobody's complaining about it on the forum, so it can't be anybody. Lol. So that's about it. The fixes for it, or as I showed, there's can't hear it. If you can't hear it that way, then it's not in existence. You don't have to worry about it. It hasn't been triggered yet. And it triggers a lot. I have not confirmed. What I do know is that if you click off the muting, if you say, I call it client continuity, if you enable client continuity, when you disable the muting, you can hear the hum across all your clients, including a browser, and that makes me think, I don't know why it's tied, it considers itself a deployable. I think it's deplorable. But yeah, I think the sound designers don't know how to deal with anything that's not full screen. If you're not full screen, it's going to happen, guaranteed. Play long enough, jump long enough, you will have the bug. Absolutely guaranteed. You can't get away from it. 100%. Guarantee you. I don't know how to repro it yet. It will be a very satisfying day when I do manage to repro it, and then I can go, okay, this happens when this happens, and therefore, we can work around a way around it, find a workaround for that once we, know where the wasp in the room is. I am very hesitant about letting CCP know about the repro, because then they'll go, okay, well, we'll fix it right away, and then it gives them an excuse to rip out more code. And that's the last thing I want, because the code they can't get at is the code they can't fuck with even more. And I'm completely happy with dealing with this as long as I can find a workaround, because normally it's white noise. It's a hum. When do you know? You've been playing this game for years. You never notice it? No, unless somebody points it out to you, then you notice it. So, and it's easily forgettable. It slips into the background, and most people don't have the audio on. So, like a big meh. as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, the last thing I want is give excuses for CCP to rip out code. Yeah, they ripped out the jukebox. I think they ripped out the jukebox. Oh, I know they ripped out the jukebox for. It was a way. It as soon as it skipped, went to the next track, you would notice a little bit of lag, a tiny bit of lag in your. It would just be a freeze in your playtime, and people would notice it. The people would notice it, complain about it, and enough people complain about it. CCP were like, "Well, I know the solution. Let's just take out the jukebox so they don't get that prompt." And it's still in the game. Yeah. You just can't see your track numbers. That's all. That's all the jukebox did. It showed you what track was playing, and when it went to the next track, when you noticed it, it was like, oh, there's something wrong with this audio thing, and that's exactly why they took it out. I guarantee you. Yeah, they took out the captain's cabin not because, oh, it's hard to iterate it. It's like you haven't touched the code in years. The only reason they did is because people were complaining. Well, why can't we walk in around in the stations? We've got a little bit, let's go more. And these people had no idea about that quote-unquote summer rage. And it wasn't summer rage. I wasn't even there. Came back and I was like, what the hell was that about? And I was like, oh. And you were like, oh, so it wasn't, okay, and you're like, okay, I get it, because you gotta read between the lines here. It wasn't like the players caused CCP to fire a whole bunch of people. No, it was they were on contract, and it was an easy excuse to blame the player base for giving them pink slips. I mean, how perfect was it? You know, you think Hilmar's gonna respect us? No. Come on, give me a break, guys. Jesus, he doesn't care. It's a convenient excuse to give people pink slips. Yeah, and you can easily see because they hate being embarrassed. They'll do anything not to be embarrassed, but they are self-serving and venal. And if they had a good system, they wouldn't have effed it up so bad. Their obsession, CCP's Hilmar's obsession with dipping his fingers, diversifying into new areas, gaming area, whatever, just his diversification. But at the same time, he's obsessed with getting record number articles in PC Gamer and stuff like that. You know, he's obsessed with it. So he forced anybody working on other games to work on his game, and of course they were working on like the combat first-person thing, the moving avatars, like not just ships, virtual people and stuff like that. And yeah, a lot of that became the captain's cabin because of they were diversifying, and it was an easy pink slip. Oh yes, the debts were high. Like, shut up. No, it wasn't. You guys dabbled. You didn't do a good job, and you sucked some of the effort and blood out of those projects. I know, right? Vampire Masquerade. Very punny there, but yeah. It's not because they owe too much or that the player base was rioting. No, it's like they frittered the time away. They made bad decisions, and they're enamored. He's enamored with greed. He worships freaking Gordon Gekko. You know, he still does. So there's no getting around it. I just realized that they don't care about the sound bug because it has not reached the level of embarrassment for them yet. You know, really got to embarrass them. And if there's any way to, that summer rage, it was embarrassing because it started to hit the larger newspapers. The larger news, like it started to spread outside of their little bubble that they thought they could contain, because they treat us like guinea pigs. So, you know, there's no going around it. But yeah, yeah, it's sort of like maybe it's systemic in the gaming industry. You know, that the whole thing with war gambling. You know, and Blizzard even worse. You know, the sexual harassment stuff, how they poo-pooed the idea until it started to actually get into the mainstream media, and then they started getting worried about it. Yeah, they'll just, yeah, clueless, utterly clueless. But yeah, thank God the spaghetti code is hard for them to understand. Otherwise, this game would even be more stupid. Yeah, right. Yeah, sorry, I get into these rant modes when I try my best to understand this stuff. But yeah. It's just mainly because I don't like a non-immersive environment, and I want to know where that wasp is, you know? It's like I like immersion. Something's not immersive. And then I was like, okay, where is it? Because I want to see the wasp, because I feel more comfortable when I see the wasp than not.